Hello, and thank you for clicking on my little video. It's really appreciated. Today I'm looking to build a gaming PC, capable of running loads of the popular games for less than 150 quid. Not an easy task in 2026. To do this, we're going to be starting with this Dell Precision T 1700 small form factor PC. I picked up 10 of these last year for £200, and with the price of everything going up, well, I'm glad I did. They arrived featuring an Intel i7 4790 processor and an 8GB module of DDR3 1600MHz memory. A good base to start from. I purchased this cheap but nice looking case for £30 off Amazon. A fish tank style case with glass windows in the front and the side of the case. I got the grinder out and cut out the I/O shield and purchased the usual adapters to add in standard power supply and make it boot to Windows without error. A cost of £15. The power supply is a Thermal Take 500 watt unit that I got off eBay for £11. Cheap and cheerful and will do the job. I begrudgingly spent £65 on the graphics card. An RX 570 8GB. I have loads of DDR3 memory laying around, so I upped the RAM to 32GB. I'll use CEX pricing for the build cost and say that added £24, and added a 240GB SSD at £12 to complete the build. Total cost? £177. So I've failed at the first hurdle. But if I went for 16GB RAM and lost the adapters, I can easily get back down to below my budget. I just have a hatred for having to press F1 on boot. Silly, really. So, build complete. Let's see how this budget bargain PC gets on with some games and benchmarks. Throwing it right into the deep end, let's start with Cyberpunk 2077. We set the game to medium settings at 1080p native, and running through the game's inbuilt benchmark and half an hour's gameplay, we saw an average of 49 frames per second, with a 1% low of 34. Now, we could play around with lowered settings, FrameGen and FSR, and achieve around 100 frames per second, but the game looked a lot less impressive. I much prefer a lower frame rate and better visuals in this title, and was pleasantly surprised with how it looked and ran. Next up, we ran Hogwarts Legacy. Despite the game saying it wanted ultra settings, which I imagine would have been a bit of a slideshow, I decided to plump for medium, 1080p and native again. The result was a smooth 51 frames per second on average and a 1% lower 43. Once again, I imagine higher frame rates are achievable with lower settings and FSR, but it's another title where higher frame rates for the visual trade-off, well, it's not really worth it. Hogwarts Legacy is again a couple of years old now, but it's still a graphically demanding game, and I was again impressed with the performance that this little sub 200 quid PC pumped out.
Your poaching days are over.
On to FIFA now, FIFA 23 to be precise. I buy this game about once every 5 or 6 years, because nothing ever changes in it. It's a few years old now, but I'd imagine performance on the latest ones would be similar. I forgot to put Afterburner on, so all I have to say is, at high settings and 1080p, it was smooth and playable. Grand Theft Auto 5, the Enhanced Edition. And before I talk about the settings and gameplay, I just want to put it out there that I struggle to see a difference between this and the Legacy version. Maybe if I could enable ray tracing then I'd get it, but honestly, just give us GTA 6 for God's sake. Anyway, tangent over. And with a mix of high and very high settings, 1080p the little PC did very well. I'd have been happy if I'd have seen 50 to 60 frames, as with the other games, but we were seeing 73 on average with 1% lows of 64. These figures highlighted that it is an over a decade-old game, and in my opinion, the enhanced version is a con job. Battlefield 6 now, and the first time I've played a Battlefield title since Battlefield 1, and wow, I love it. Just running through 10 minutes of the campaign and I'm hooked. Fast-paced and adrenaline pumping from the first minute. I don't really game anymore, kids have grown up a bit and I used to enjoy gaming with them, but they're not interested now. This game may change that. I'll definitely be spending some time working through the campaign and probably some time getting wiped out non-stop in online mode too. Low settings and a native 1080p and you will just about get away with the campaign mode with an average of 36 frames per second and a 1% low of 28, but that's not going to be enough if you want to compete in online. There are frame gen and res scaling options that you could play around with that will improve things, and you'd likely get away with it. I'm so impressed that this PC runs the game somewhat smoothly. Before messing about with settings, blown away that a 12-year-old processor can still do this in 2026.
Guns up!
Closing thoughts. Did I achieve what I set out to achieve? And were the results worth the effort? In my eyes, absolutely. I closed out 2025 with a vow to drop DDR3 builds. No matter how well done they are or how cheap you sell them, the trolls are all ready to jump out from under their bridges and tell everyone that it will run nothing, and you need to spend at least 600 quid to run Minecraft. Idiots. Problem is, there are parents out there with 2 or 3 kids, all of whom want gaming PCs, and they're pulling their hair out because they simply can't afford to buy 3 600 quid machines. DDR4 was going to be my cutoff, but with the parts crisis deepening, there is so much performance still to be had out of 4-core 8-thread i7s and DDR3. I was kind of strong-armed back into DDR3 by the current situation, but I'm not sorry. A PC for 170 quid that can run all those games? No-brainer. Thanks for watching. Please do like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!